Unfortunately, this world first recognizes the appearance before it could dive into the qualities that we have inside us. Shirts like this signify the person that we are and the sense of style and the sense of occasion that we have. Shirts originated not very long back. As the mankind was discovering the cosmos, the laws of motion, in the 16th century, shirts was born from its earlier avatar of tunics. Tunics was the dress which was worn by men all over, long things, one piece, richly adorned depending on your status and wealth, or very plain, but mostly made out of linen and silk. When shirts came, these were not there in the present form that we see. They were a transitional exposition from the tunic to an upper wear which is shorter and which is little body hugging. They were again richly embroidered with a lot of diamonds, lot of jewels. This shirt in its current form, which you see me wearing or which most of you must be wearing, came in the beginning of 18th century, and this 18th century shirt had two different elements to it. One is of course a collar and the other one was a sleeve. Both of them were detachable. As all of us know, collar is the most exposed to human sweat, and that needs more frequent washing and better cleaning as compared to the body of the shirt. In this unified form, where both the cuff and the collar were integral part of the main shirt, came in the early part of 20th century, in the 1900s and 1910s. So now what I'm going to tell about this shirt is derived from this history which is there in many men's grooming things, as also my interaction in some of the London parties with some of the reputed tailors of the Jeremy Street of London, which is just off the Oxford Street, and where traditionally men and gentlemen went to stitch their shirts. Let us begin with a shirt, because there are so many constructions around the shirt, is to understand the yoke of the shirt. The yoke of the shirt is the portion of the double piece of fabric that we see around the shoulders. Between the shoulders and on the neck part of it, it travels from one part to the other. It decides the hang or the way it sits on your body. Whenever you are going to buy shirts, or either tailored or ready-made, especially ready-made, look and try whether the shirt yoke is sitting on your body properly. The yoke should not be extending too much, it neither should be too short. It should be just about your shoulder length, and when you droop your shoulder, it should come up to this. There is a front part which is hanging from the yoke, and there is a back part which is hanging from the yoke. The back part could have some pleats to give you some comfort, but front part absolutely should not have any pleat or any such extra piece of cloth, because what happens is that if the shirt appears too baggy, you cannot wear it well. Then coming to the collar, you will have to see that the collar fits the occasion. If you are wearing it open collar, better to wear it with a little bit of width around it, and a V-cut, wide cut collar is made to fit the tie that is worn with it. The different shapes of the cut is originally designed to fit the shapes of the tie knot. A Windsor knot, which is a very big knot, requires a collar which is spread like this, whereas a 4-in-1 hand knot or a small knot, it requires a V-cut. Could be some buttoned up collars, but typically it is plain and it should be stiff, and generally collar sticks are given to keep them stiff. Coming back to the sleeves, it must start with the armhole. Many times the armholes in ready-made shirts are too baggy and they hang very loosely here. This spoils the decor of the shirt, looks very slovenly. Oh, this armhole on through which the arm goes out is the first part that you must look in a shirt. And the sleeve length is the next important thing. Sleeve length is such that from the tip of the thumb to the end of the sleeve, there should be a 11 centimeter or 4.5-inch kind of a distance. This is what is recommended. This portion should be around 11 centimeters. And the second important thing is that if you are wearing a jacket, about 1 cm or ½ inch of your cuff should be visible outside the coat sleeve. Now about the cuffs, you can wear a cuff like this, which is a regular cuff, either with one button or two buttons. Now, this shirt has two buttons. I have two buttons each, which looks a little classy, but most of the modern day shirts come with just one hole. Or it could be a double cuff or a French cuff, which is like this and which is typically tied together with a cuff link, which is one part of men's jewelry. What should be the length of the shirt? Length of the shirt, it came from the tunic which used to hang below the knees. Now length of the shirt should be such that length should be enough to keep the shirt tucked, and when you move it shouldn't come out easily. At the same time, it shouldn't be so much that there is too much of cloth and gives a bagginess to your back and to your front. The loose or the tight part of it is determined by how much you are comfortable with, but at the same time, the untucked shirt is considered unsmart, and many people think that somebody is untucking a shirt or wearing it outside is likely to be doing it to camouflage a bulging tummy. So better to have a shirt which can be worn comfortably lengthwise at outside as well as tucked in. Now what is the color that you should be going for while choosing a shirt? The broad thumb rule is that you must look at the color outside. If it is daylight, then choose something pale or light or bright. And if it is dark outside or if it is artificially lit like that in a party, then typically you wear a dress which is dark in color and heavy in texture. What is the rule regarding choice of shirt with checks and stripes, which is now a common thing? It is important also to have the basic rules in mind. A beige color shirt or a white color shirt goes well with a dark brown trouser. A light blue or a white shirt can be worn with a dark gray or a dark blue kind of a trouser. Classical rule is to match your socks with your shirt. The rule is that you should match your socks set with your shirt set. And wearing the tie and jacket has to be coordinated with the shirt. If you are wearing a striped jacket, you should wear a solid color shirt inside. Similarly, if you are wearing a check shirt, you should wear a solid color tie with it. Checks are reserved for informal occasions. You can experiment a few light checks with solid ties, but if you are wearing it open, better to stick to a solid color or small stripes. It should be washed before it gets too dirty. Wrinkles and creases can be avoided if in the previous night you hang the shirt. Iron the shirt from up to down, not down to up, because whatever is the crease or the extra thing that will appear on your body part. Talk to the tailor. Many times the sleeves of both the hands are not equal. Ask him to measure the sleeves properly. This will help you in choosing your shirt and getting dressed well. Thank you very much.